Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the T&T Podcast. As always, it's your boy Tyler Layfield, joined by my co-host Torres Finney. How's it going, Torres?
What's going on, baby? We just got done with the end of a good and a great season, man. A really great season. I enjoyed it a lot, man. A lot of good teams this year, and a lot of good things to look forward to for a lot of these teams.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah. Uh, Thank God I was able to watch the game last night. I was definitely going to at least watch at least the first half. I get pretty tired throughout the week.
Hmm.
Being on that schedule I have of mine, I mean, I can't complain. I guess I know a lot of other people have to get up early and actually do stuff throughout the day. Putting up with kids is pretty difficult sometimes. Every now and then, I enjoy my job, but you got to have some sleep to do it. But got the reminder or got the update last night that we won't be having school tomorrow. So I was like, all right, I may as well, stay up for the rest of this. I'll get a little bit of extra sleep today. So I stayed up and watched it. And yeah, I'm not gonna say it was a great game. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't as bad as it looked early. It looked like it was going to get pretty ugly pretty quick, and
It
I
did.
think that's what
It did.
everybody shot to, pretty much immediately last night. And I think was it 14-0 to start it off, right?
Yeah,
And
start
then
off 14-0.
started off 14-0. Michigan, I believe it was Donovan Edwards scored the first two, right? Or
Yes. He
I
scored a
know he,
couple
I,
of
I
touchdowns.
know he had two. I have to go back. I'm going to look and see was it the first two, but he started off hot, man. Michigan defensively, they offensively running the ball well. McCarthy was on his game. It was all pedal to the metal on this game from Michigan, and they looked good, man. They looked good. Let's see here. Let's look at play by play. Yeah, so that's how it kind of pretty much started off. We had the touchdown from Edwards there, and then like you said, Donovan Edwards 46-yard run touchdown. There it is. So yeah, they started off hot. Good game by them, and then pretty much from there, Washington. It just felt like from their end couldn't get much going offensively, man. Like the defense actually held up in times where they needed them to. They just couldn't do anything offensively. Maybe they used every bit of what they could in that last game, but man, it was pretty tough to watch that Washington's offense, which I did not think I'd be saying that today. What'd you see though?
Watching the game, it went a little bit how about I predicted actually. I predicted a 34-24 score, if anybody remember last week.
I don't remember what
Um,
I picked.
and
I picked
they
even lower than that.
I actually was surprised that Washington when they wasn't able to put up 24 points. I thought, it was a little surprising in that
Yeah,
regard. But props to Michigan. I knew Michigan was going to control the clock, run the ball. But see, watching these games throughout the bowl games, throughout some of the season, the guys that had their starters, it doesn't surprise me when I see what I've been seeing all year long. I watched probably 3 or 4 Michigan games, some of their bigger games. And when I watch Michigan play, what you saw last night is what you saw all season. JJ McCarthy plays an average game. They're running the ball. They had 200 rushing yards in the first half. Like, my
yeah,
goodness. They're running the ball and they're playing really good defense. Well, what about Michigan has looked like that ever since Jim Harbaugh has gotten there. Jim Harbaugh teams look like ever since he's been coaching. If anybody remember the 49ers team, they were very heavy run, really good defense.
yeah,
Not many times a quarterback is going to do something too spectacular. You had that one year with Colin Kaepernick. You take away that, how JJ McCarthy looked is basically, as I compare him a lot to Alex Smith, they look very similar. This game was really, I mean, it is what it is. One team was that much more dominant than the other.
hmm
Washington couldn't get a lot of things going only because Washington couldn't really like sustain their offense, and I think it's hard to sustain their offense when you got constant activity from the linemen. Michigan controlled the line of scrimmage on both sides, both offensively and defensively. I really enjoyed the game a little bit. I like
hmm
defensive game. I like low scoring, run the ball, smash mouth football.
Yeah,
Michigan,
when I said it wasn't a great game, I wasn't trying to like crack on it and like say this was just an awful game to watch. I'm not going to sit here and downplay it by any means, but it wasn't a close one. And
No.
it never really was the whole
Mhm.
entire time. That's what I mean by it. No disrespect to all the Michigan
Well,
fans out there.
well,
In
I
fact, I
will.
have a lot of Michigan fan friends out there, so I'm
Well, I will say Washington had opportunity. Well, I mean, it was tight. You know, it was tight. I mean, it was always a one score game for the majority of the game.
Mhm.
Washington had opportunities, but Washington, as you saw, wide receivers made a lot of mistakes. I mean,
Yeah, very
and Penix
uncharacteristic.
missed throws. I mean, look,
He did.
going down the field, overthrowing certain guys, wide receiver dropping passes that he usually catch. That was a very unusual Washington offense. And
Dennis, you're gonna get Torres going with that comment right there.
I mean, it's not SEC like defense. I mean, do we not remember the defenses of Miami? Do we not remember the defense of USC? It's not SEC like defense. They have a really
Mhm.
good defense because there was no SEC team in this game last time I checked.
Uh-oh.
And
Uh-oh.
um, and
The
once
SEC bias, man, coming up in here. Here he goes.
SEC
Done got
bias.
him on a soapbox,
And
Dennis.
look, but I also knew they would give Penix problems as well. As any look, it's all about sometimes which card you draw. What side of the bracket are you going to be on? And y'all going to be seeing the same thing with the 12-team playoffs. You see it all the time in the NFL. I have said this multiple times. It's all about matchups. Me and Kobe was going at it on Instagram a little bit earlier today.
Really?
He was talking about, some people, there was a post out there that was saying Georgia could beat Michigan. And he was like, but Georgia can even beat Bama. And I was like, well, that's called matchups. I feel like Georgia matches up a lot better against Michigan than Bama does.
I agree.
He's like, well, you said the same thing about Georgia matching up good against Bama. And I said, well, that's interesting because last time I checked, I don't remember Bama blowing us out. The score was 28-24. Granted, they controlled the majority of the game, but that was a tight game. And a play here and there, it's a different circumstance. That necessarily doesn't mean you don't match up well against them. And I do believe Georgia, with their style of offense, with the way they run the ball, with the way that we play defense, I like our chances against a team like Michigan. I really do. I really do like how we could play a team like Michigan. But, I mean, it is what it is in that regards. But, we can see. So
yeah. Dennis chimed in, LL. So they only allowed 13 points to a high-scoring offense. They sacked Milroe 6 times. We didn't. You're right. They played just a great defense.
Right. And that's the matchup persistent because guess what? Is Milroe going to be able to move and utilize the pocket the same way Milroe can? I mean, is J.J. McCarthy going to be able to move and use the pocket like Jalen Milroe? No. That's two different quarterbacks. And there's two different offenses. The way they run the ball will be completely different. That's why I like, sometimes the best team
I agree, Dennis.
Don't always win the championship. And I'm be honest, y'all might think I think Georgia was one of the better teams this year. We just can't get over the hump against Nick Saban and Alabama. But I do believe.
Well, I mean, you can't say we haven't because we have that one time, but it's definitely frustrating enough. It's frustrating enough. I know it's frustrating enough to where it's just like, yeah, we can never do it. I was looking at Paul Feinbaum. I was looking on Twitter before we got on the show today, and Paul Feinbaum he'd been pretty persistent. Georgia's the best team. Georgia's the best team. Georgia, to me, they could beat anybody in this college football playoff. And then today he stated, after seeing what I saw last night, I'm no longer willing to say that. I'm willing to say Michigan is the best team. But Feinbaum's known for saying some kind of stuff like that. And I think he definitely can still make the case. I mean, Michigan, you did win the championship. It's hard to say you're not the best team. But I do think Georgia does have a case up there. Some might even say Alabama with the defense, that they had, and the tomfoolery they're able to pull every game. You could say Washington maybe if you like, high-powered offenses. Dennis says we could beat Bama when we are not in Georgia. Okay, yeah, you kind of have a small case there, right? The Benz is just can't do it in the Benz somehow, right? Yeah, we could do it in Lucas Oil Stadium, just not anywhere else, right?
We got to do better as a team, and we have to coach better against Nick Saban. It's just, I mean, like I said, until proven otherwise, Alabama will always beat Georgia, in my opinion. Whenever that game comes up, until I see them, and then next year, don't make it any cleaner. We got to go to Alabama. Yeah, so it's not like oh man, I'm happy. Like That's an automatic loss in my opinion. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not willing to. Yeah, I don't know. And it's funny hearing this from you because I feel like you're the ultimate optimist when it comes to this kind of thing. Normally, it's me, preparing the doomsday, ringing the bell. The end is near. The end is near, and then Torres was like, "Well, we're not winning until I actually see it. This is a new Torres here." So
I'm sorry. Like
I can get on board though.
I don't until I actually see it. Until I actually see it. It's just hard for me to, you know. You can't bet against Alabama in a lot of these type of games. Now again, we both picked Alabama to win it all once they made the playoffs. I wouldn't bet against Nick Saban. But I didn't think they were going to run away with it. I knew there would be a close games. Now the way Michigan, played a really good game and Michigan looked good. So
they did.
And props to Michigan, man. They deserve a national champion. They did their thing.
Yeah, and like Dennis laid out here, it's about keeping Milroe in the pocket, making him throw, and not turning the ball over on your side. All right, here comes Jacob Baldwin. There he is. We all going to Bama UGA. I don't know. Are we? I don't know. I'll think about it when they close as closer as it gets. I'll consider it. I'll consider it. Jacob, I do want to hear some stuff from you, man. I guess we could kick it into this. I mean, anything else you want to say about the championship? I mean, good job to Michigan. I mean, we both kind of honed in on that. I mean, awesome job to Michigan. They played a great game. Washington just wasn't your day, man. A lot of things just didn't work out well. You couldn't really get the running game going. Offense just wasn't there. Defense actually showed up, which is like I said, not what I expected. But I don't really have too much more to say on the game. What about you?
I'm going to say, props definitely to Michigan, as we've stated multiple times. But I am going to say that the fact that Michigan, I see a lot of people talk about, well, Michigan are cheaters and they're this and they're that. I mean, these guys still went out there and played the game, and plus, whenever these guys were so-called caught, I don't, a lot of people that have been in the game of football, when I heard that, oh man, they were caught stealing signs, I'm like, I didn't know that was illegal.
Because I heard some stories back from Jones County where we learned the signs of the other team, So I don't know. I've heard some things about that.
Is that like stealing signs? Now sending guys to other guys' practices was definitely something that was obviously really wrong. But again, y'all don't understand. We have had that happen even at Jones County when I was there. Like. This is not new. Sending guys to the guys' practices, like putting on caps, acting like different people, or sending guys to their games, trying to steal something. That's not.
Now, yeah, I'm about to say, I know the games. I haven't heard the practice thing. That's crazy.
Oh, dude, yes, dude. Because remember, anybody's open to coming into practice, and then plus where our practice was, you can sit up there in that bleachers and you don't know who that is. You don't know who that is.
No,
so that any of that can possibly happen. I mean, it's still about what you're going to now. Yes, if my other team always know my plays and stuff, then yeah, I got to be mindful of that. But we'll see.
I guess last thing I got to add here on Michigan before we move on to the next thing. Harbaugh, was this his last game at Michigan?
Man, yes. There's a lot of NFL jobs open right now. There's a lot of NFL jobs open. Yeah, I have to make an answer. I'm going to say yes as well. It's just with the way the NIL stuff is going on, he probably will be better off going. I mean, Michigan just won a championship, so that's huge.
All the rumors out there about him maybe being suspended for next year, blah, 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 all the ramifications. There's people out there that are even saying something about, voiding wins and things like that. Dip out before the storm hits. I could see him doing it. And then, like you said, there's a plethora of NFL jobs out there. He's got his pick of the litter more than likely as far as like people wanting him to come coach their team. So, I could definitely see him dipping out.
That'll be like Pete Carroll, because Pete Carroll dipped out just in time.
Same there. Yeah.
To go to his team. And, after USC won all those national championships back to back. Yeah. And then, he left. So might be the same deal.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's look ahead to next season. And Jacob, this is where I was gonna get your takes if you're still out there, man. Because we're gonna talk about. He's saying he'd still take Georgia, Bama 1-2. Dennis, I know you're out there. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it as well. But I took a screenshot. I know On3 They're one of the college football, sites out there. They're pretty good. I like seeing the stuff they post, but way too early college football top 25 for next season. This is what they listed out. Number one. So I'm just going to do top 10 for right now. If you want to hear more of that. And once I get to the point where I can put some of this stuff up on the screen, I'd love to start doing that. But way too early, CFP top 25. We got 1, Georgia, 2, Texas, 3, Bama, 4, Oregon, 5, Ohio State, 6, Michigan, 7, Ole Miss, 8, Notre Dame, 9, Penn State, and 10, Missouri. That is the top 10 that per on 3 per Jesse Simonton. So the guy that made this is Jesse Simonton. What do you think about the top 10? So once again, Georgia, Texas, Bama, Oregon, Ohio State, Michigan, Ole Miss, Notre Dame, Penn State, Missouri. A lot of familiar names there.
Yeah, a lot of familiar names. That's a really good list. Problem with that list, it's funny that I could see Georgia for sure next year, especially with the pieces they got coming back and, the guys we're retaining to be the best team in the country. But it's funny that we call ourselves the best team in the country, only to know 4 weeks later into the season, you're going to beat Alabama and then lose that. So, but that's the beauty of it. It's like
they give you the chance.
They give you the chance.
They give you the benefit of the doubt. Mm-hmm. And then you see what happens when the time comes.
You got to see what happens. Texas at 2. I don't know, man.
Texas, you're returning Ewers. We already know that what's his name, the big Xavier Worthy, he's gone. Your tight end Sanders is gone. Let me see here. Who else is gone? I mean, they got the 2 big defensive tackles. They're going to be gone that they have. Pretty sure Jonathan Brooks is gone. So I mean, they still got some running backs coming. I don't know if AD Mitchell's leaving or not. I haven't seen much about that. And then I also haven't seen anything about Whittington. Yeah. Jacob chimed in. I like that list, but Missouri is better than Penn State. You are correct, Jacob. You are correct. I like what you're thinking on that. You need to get in Kobe's ear. Let him know, man.
Well, looking at that list, looking at a guy looking at a team like Texas. All right, so Texas.
So we both agree that number 1 should be Georgia, and then Jacob, Josh. If all you guys agree, you chime in here. I think we could both agree Georgia number 1.
Yeah, I'm not feeling sold on Texas being up there too high. I mean, heck, that's 3 straight SEC
Bam over
teams in the top 3. And if you feel like if the top 4 next year, 3 out of the 4 next year are going to be all SEC teams, then it's going to be interesting to see. But a lot of these teams are going to knock out each other. And I think with an all SEC schedule now, where a lot of the top teams will be playing each other, a lot of this stuff is going to be a lot different. And, that's where I came up with the notion that the Pac-12 was the better conference this year than any conference. Only because you saw so many ranked teams were in that conference, but they all had to play each other week after week. We talk about SEC, but when you go deep dive into the SEC schedule, a lot of the top teams are not playing each other week after week after week. When you look at that, you look at, let's be honest. Georgia don't play Alabama in the regular season majority of the time until the SEC championship game. All right.
More likely, yeah.
Most people think those 2 are the 2 best teams in the conference. Why do they rarely play each other? Heck, in the span of 2 years, actually, take it back 3 years. We go back to our national championship. We didn't play Alabama at all in the regular season. Never played Bama at all in the regular season. Why is that? See, that's the problem I have sometimes when you talk about overall the best conference, which they are. Don't get me wrong. I think Georgia and Alabama is amongst the 2 top teams, but you have a lot of teams that don't even see each other. Hey, when the last time we see LSU? I know we saw them in the SEC championship game 2 years ago. Been a long time ago. All right. That's how, heck, that's just how it's been, for majority of the time. Like, we don't always see each other as the best. But next year, it changes up a whole lot. It changes up a lot. And we get a chance to really see. And I definitely see what Greg Hopkins down here talking about. SEC has to kill each other. It's cannibalism. But
you're right. It always happens like that, Greg. You're right.
Yeah. He's not lying. But I can't.
Jacob said, could you slip FSU in the top 10? I'm not willing to go that far. I'm not. I still don't know. There's a big unknown at quarterback. Well, actually, not a big unknown anymore. You got DJ Uyunglele coming in, but it feels like they are. It's just I don't know, and I'm not. I need to choose my words wisely here because I don't want to say running it back because I don't see the same amount of. I can't say that either. I want to sit here and say I don't see the same amount of success coming their way this year with their schedule. But when you look at the schedule, they're still playing the same teams, and it's the ACC. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, they could very well go back and go undefeated.
But they're still in the ACC.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. They're still in it. They haven't left it yet. I think as of right now, you have to assume they're going to be playing a full ACC schedule.
Yeah, that's right.
They are bringing in a lot of transfers again. They're bringing in a ton of transfers. I don't know if you kept up with that. They just picked up one of J Wall's boys, Earl Little. They picked up also Malik Benson from Bama, so they're getting Bama sloppy seconds now instead of everybody else's. They got DJU. They got some other guys. I don't know, man. I mean, they're. I don't know if it's sustainable the way they're going about this. I think this is just patching things up. Okay, we have this hole. Let's fill it real quick with this. But then what happens when this happens or that happens? I just think it's a house of cards in that sense. What's the rule on conference championships in the SEC? Now it'll be the top two. There's not going to be any division, so it'll be the top two in the SEC, right, Torres?
Yes, very similar how the Big 12 used to do it.
Yes. Same thing the Pac-12 did this year. I mean, between Oregon and Washington, they were the top two. They played each other. So, yeah, that's how that one's working.
And I like it like that because, again, playing a full SEC schedule, you have to play these teams because that's what I think a lot of people sometimes sleep on the Big 12. Now, granted, I don't think the Big 12 ever been one of those top-tier conferences, but they usually have a lot of good ranked teams, Oklahoma, lately Kansas, Oklahoma State, Texas, there used to be a time with Texas Tech and all those boys in West Virginia a few years here and there. Like, they would have a lot of really good teams, but basically they had to all play each other. And now we get to really see a true SEC champion. Because what year was it when I think that was a year when like LSU and Auburn and Bama and Georgia, they were all really good. But not all of them played each other. Now, granted, Alabama played the majority, obviously, because they were on the side. And I said, man, imagine if Georgia had to play through some of that same schedule, And I'm not taking nothing away from Georgia, but I am saying it makes the SEC like, okay, we talk about how great this conference is, but how great when you all have to play each other. Because I'm not talking about no Arkansas. I'm not talking about no Mississippi State, no Vanderbilt.
Greg brought up Arkansas.
I ain't talking about no Arkansas. I ain't talking about no we ain't talking about Vandy. We ain't talking about Mississippi State.
No, we can't talk about Vandy.
We ain't talking about those teams because when they talk about the South, let's take away all those sorry teams. There's only usually it's the two top teams and sometimes the third. Yes, Florida back in the day, late 2000s.
It's getting worse,
but they're not going to be that good no more for a long time.
It's bad. I'm about to say they're still doing some stupid stuff right now. I think they just brought in one of Auburn's guys to be their best or to be their co-defensive coordinator or something. There was some weird title they done gave him. I don't know. It's not going to fix anything. It's going to be ugly down there.
And Tennessee is stepping up. Congratulations. But Tennessee wouldn't even win the ACC. They wouldn't probably win the big. I'm not sold on Tennessee. Tennessee ain't winning jack. Tennessee has gotten better.
I'm not willing to go that far.
Oh, Lord.
So what are you saying about Tennessee exactly?
Tennessee ain't done nothing. The last few years, they ain't done nothing.
Last year was a big year for them. I mean,
not this. Was big. They beat Alabama. Then, they got right number one.
I mean, technically they screwed up at the end there. Yeah. I'm kind of in agreement with you. I'm never going to take them too serious, but I do think that they're a pretty good team. Especially after what I just saw in that bowl game. Yeah. Greg's bringing it up. Iowa. Yeah. It was a pretty good performance. I'm not going to lie, man. I'm not gonna lie; it was a pretty good performance from Tennessee, and the new quarterback. Man, I like that quarterback. That quarterback size. Is Greg a Tennessee fan?
He is.
Tennessee. Hey, Greg, I like that.
And he went to high school in Ringo. Why are you a Tennessee fan?
Greg.
Hey, wait a minute. Are we really bringing up Iowa? A team that can't score on 3 points?
Jacob said sleeper team next year is Arizona. Greg hit you with the go balls. Yeah. Greg, I can see it. It's just the coaching is what backs me up on Tennessee. They as long as that gimmicky offense, I don't know. I feel like teams like Georgia and them can shut it out. That's the issue I feel like for you guys. I just feel like it could be easily kind of snuffed out. Now, when I was reading it out, so we talked about 1 Georgia, 2 Tennessee, or Texas, I meant. Sorry, Greg. 3 Bama. So you would bump Bama to 2.
I probably would bump Bama to 2. I haven't really been sold too
Still
much.
some question marks there. A lot of
Yeah.
question marks, actually. And I do want you to chime in here. Yes, Greg, NCAA 2014 EA Sports, baby.
And they
Yeah,
lied to us. We never got a commercial last night.
yeah, we never did. Yeah, and we probably won't from a thing that I saw. So hopefully we get NCAA here at some point. But yeah, Jacob, I want you to chime in here. I've seen a lot, and don't get me wrong, Georgia, we've had our fair share of guys too. Now we had a lot of guys enter the portal, like you said. I think it was more of getting rid of some. Needless to say, a better way to say it, I guess, some booty players out of here. They've also lost. Bama has also lost a good bit of NFL talent. I saw Kool-Aid, Terrion Arnold. I'm not going to mention Jermaine Burton here. He doesn't need to be involved in that. You got who else was led? I mean, I know they lost the two running backs. Old buddy Roydell, buddy Jason McClellan. Them 2 left. Like I said, Burton, Benson, all them. Like pretty much all the wide receivers have left up to this point. And I think they're okay with that. Also, J.C. Latham, their star right tackle, he's gone. They got another guard that left. I think a defensive lineman. Needless to say, I see a lot of names leaving. A lot, and then Dallas Turner or Boyd Bay, Braswell. A lot of your pass rush dipping. Lot of big names here. There's a lot of things I want to see, and that's one thing we got to pay attention to in the offseason is who's going to fill in those roles for them to see where they end up placing themselves before the season starts. Their heart's going after this year. Who's he talking about? Bama?
I'm gonna ask you this. So we talk about it a good bit. I've seen interviews from Kirby. You talk about it on here. Kirby like 4-year guys that develop.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a little bit detrimental to see a team like Alabama go into the transfer portal and grab guys left and right?
What do you mean detrimental exactly? Detrimental to them, detrimental to
yes, detrimental to them, because I think the transfer portal is something I could be completely wrong. But is it that a part of Nick Saban's specialty? Is he's good to go and grab these guys that he has no understanding, no true idea of their identity of anything? He just go grab them. Hey, we need you here. Like compared to a 4-year guy. Obviously, I know he would love to rather have a 4-year guy, but he transfers left and right. You talk about it like, yes, they just made it to the playoffs, so obviously it must benefit them in some way. But how long can you sustain it, as you just said?
I think the strategy. Well, talking about just for Alabama, is that what you're saying?
Yes, just for Alabama.
I think the strategy that Georgia, Bama, because I don't think Bama's dipped into it too hard, right? I mean, how many transfers did they get last year? I know they brought in Buckner. I know they brought in Tresman Marshall. Most of the transfers I cracked on, if you remember. I cracked on the safety they had. I cracked on the corner they had. I don't think it was a ton of transfers they brought in that were supposed to come in and make a huge difference. I don't think it was one of those years for them as far as that goes. But I think the strategy that Georgia and them have taken, which Georgia just actually brought in a QB in the portal. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Yeah, I did.
Kid from UNLV. And he's not going to be a guy that's supposed to come in and play. It's just so we have an extra arm in the room.
He was freshman of the year last year.
He was solid. He was solid, but he's not going to, you're not going to start over Beck. I mean, that's the understanding. But you're going to come in, you're going to bring another arm to the room. You're going to help out in practice, get everything ready. I think the way they've ran it is decent compared to like a team like A&M or like a team like Florida State, where you see there's no buy-in from the collective unit. When the going gets tough and things don't go your way, it's not, we're just not going to play then. This don't mean anything. We're not going to play. And that's how it happened to Florida State. A&M, same thing. Oh, we're out. Money's gone. We're out. We're gone. No allegiances to this university. No allegiances to these other teammates of mine. No allegiances to this coaching staff. I'm gone. I'm out. I do think that's detrimental. I don't like that way of playing it. Hiring mercenaries is not the way to go. Now, if you can pick your spots, choose your spots on where you need to hit, like I'm going to bring in this one guy who's going to be able to, I think he can make an impact for this team this year to really help us push us over the edge. I think that's something solid. I think that can help you out. And I think that's the way these two teams have operated for the most part Georgia and Bama, that is.
I mean, you made a good point. Like you said, you can't go after these mercenaries and expect it.
You're right.
But then again, I mean, yeah, great point made by Greg, man. You know, look,
$8, say money. He's right. Money talks, man.
These guys are going to where whoever the highest bidder is, and they don't care what the school look like. They don't care how good the talent is at the school. It's like whoever has the highest dollar, and I think that is broadening the expansion of like. Oh,
it's creating more parity, these other teams like let's just take a look at this. Is a good one to bring up in the NIL talk. Ole Miss, have you been keeping up with what they've been doing transfer wise?
No, I have not.
They've brought in a good bit of defensive players. They got in Walter Nolan, former top 5 defensive tackle in his recruiting class. Great 5-star player, awesome player. I was I talked about him on the show previously. I was heard Georgia was starting to kick the tires on it. Was really hoping we get it because he'd be amazing. They got him. They got some boys from Greg's team, Tennessee. I think like a safety, a defensive lineman. They've been loading up. But then all of a sudden, just the other day, Quinshon Judkins, number 1 running back, it feels like talent-wise in the nation, enters the transfer portal. Things start coming out about that. How pretty much, and not to crap on A.D. Mitchell, not to crack on Adnan Mitchell. Love the guy. He's a dang good dog. Love him to death. He's made some of the biggest catches in UGA history when it comes to leading us to 2 national titles, and I will always respect him for that. And he's always got a place in my heart for that. But he came, Adnan Mitchell went to the coaching staff. He got a deal done. Everything was squared away. Comes back a couple weeks later, wants a little bit more. Same thing happened with Quinshon Judkins from what I've heard. This is from what I've gathered, where he got a deal, went back, tried to get a little bit more. Things started getting around in the locker room about it. You can actually go back and watch some of that game film from when they played Penn State. Offensive linemen weren't helping this kid up off the ground after tackles, and that doesn't necessarily mean everything. There was some stuff going on the sidelines. As soon as he entered the portal, Jackson Dart, starting quarterback, starts making posts about it. It's best to let people go or something like that. Things like that, things that are uncharacteristic. And even Lane Kiffin made some posts. And you know how he's not afraid to make some posts about stuff. He was just like letting a shark go or something like that. He always does these shark things, analogies. Don't understand it fully, but he does it. And he's now at Ohio State. He is committed to Ohio State. He's going to be running back for them this year. So they've been we'll see how this experiment works for them as far as bringing in a total overhaul defensively. I have a feeling it's going to be more like the Florida State experiment more than it is going to be like a Georgia or Bama type thing, though. Jacob chimed in. He said, Bama wide receivers and running backs are going to be better in the next few years. Not worried about the defense as much. It'll be tough to replace Turner, Braswell, Kool-Aid, and Arnold, but getting Overton helps, and there are some studs behind them boys. I think it all comes down to coaching. Yeah, Overton, he was another former top prospect. He reclassified, went out a little earlier. We'll have to see what he does. I haven't kept up with his production at A&M. He also said, I'm more worried about getting someone that can snap the D ball. So yeah, he's right. Hey, I wonder, and who will that be, Jacob? Is there a guy on the roster that's actually going to do that, or are you guys going to have to bring somebody in? I haven't looked at the depth chart. I want to know who it is. I know we know who we have coming in now that Cedric Van Pran's gone. It's going to be Jared Wilson stepping up. Heard nothing but great stuff about him, so I'm happy to know that. But I have been interested to know who's it going to be for Bama.
Well, the other question is for Alabama as well. Who's going to be the defensive coordinator?
Yes, that is. And
just having their former defensive coordinator retire. I can't think of his name currently.
It is Kevin Steele.
That's right. So him just retiring, that's huge. Now, granted, let's be honest. We know what goes on in Alabama. We know who are the ones that actually run the defense. We know Saban is the man. But
yeah,
defensive coordinator does also have a hand in play as well. And I think that could be a little bit, of a turning point, if you don't get the right guy. So
yeah. Let's see. Greg brought up Colorado offers you an education and sponsorship deal of $200K. I wouldn't be shocked if it's more now with Dion over there. Or Texas A&M offers you an education and $4 million in sponsorships. Kids making this kind of money is going to be crazy when it comes to gambling. All these kids. Yeah.
Well, see, and that's another thing too about that, Greg, is the fact that high school kids are now making this money because high school now can have NIL deals, and there's a lot of schools.
You're correct.
You got it now in Georgia. Tennessee was the first state to do it. It's crazy. It is very crazy. You got high schoolers transferring like it's nothing.
Yeah.
And it's mind blowing. Like, oh, I'm going to this high school. They offer me $500K. Wait a minute. What'd you say again?
Oh man, I heard something recent. I heard something recent about FPD. and a highly touted recruit. I'm not going to say anything on it, but he wanted some type of car, wanted a couple 100,000, like all sorts. But the demands were crazy. And
The question is though, if he don't get it from that school, see,
he's gonna get
I remember. Look, these kids are already using
the numbers ain't coming from nowhere.
That's right. There you go.
The numbers ain't coming from nowhere. He knows what he's doing.
Somebody, hey Buford, hey, what you want? Oh, we got that. What? Like, and these families. I mean, you gotta remember. Like, you remember when you're young, you would see little kids highlight tapes, and you're like, oh, that little kid. You know what? He making a highlight tape for? He's young. He's not even in 6th grade yet. Well, these little kids highlight tapes are actually beneficial. Because guess what? They going into these middle school and high school recruiting now. Hey, come on down here. Hey, come on down to Warner Robins. We got you a little something.
Don't call Kobe out like that. Don't call Kobe out like that. Jacob did say James Brockermeyer is going to be the next center, it looks like, but I won't be surprised if we pick someone up. Yeah, I remember the Brockermeyer boys. Didn't one of them leave, Jacob? You can answer that in the chat here in a second. I thought Tommy or something like that left. They came as a package deal. They were out of Texas. While we're waiting to hear from him on that. So number 4 and 5 were Oregon and Ohio State back-to-back. With Ohio State adding the addition of, getting the addition of Juckins, having what they have.
I'll probably switch Ohio State and above Oregon.
You put them above Oregon. Oregon, they will have a new quarterback next year. It'll probably be Dylan Gabriel. Could be Dante. They're gonna duke it out, see who wins that. It's probably gonna be Gabriel. I think everybody's gonna put their money on that. Ohio State, I think didn't it get announced? Will Howard is coming in. Hang on here.
Come out from Kansas State.
From Kansas State, yes. Will Howard. Yes, he's going to Ohio State, and I remember he was somebody they were hyping up. He's going to Ohio State now.
They loaded, boy. They got Juckins and boy, they about to be loaded.
Yeah. They're getting some. They're reloading in some ways.
Who's the quarterback?
Who's what?
He's gonna be the quarterback.
It'd probably be Will Howard. I'm guessing. I mean,
they had another transfer, I believe.
Let me look here. I'll pull that up. But yeah, Ohio State, they brought in Will Howard. I can't imagine Will Howard would come without being promised that starting job, because I know USC was talking to him about coming in and being the guy. Transfer tracker. Let's look here. But yeah, I mean, Will Howard, he's a highly touted kid. Even before the season started, they were talking highly about him. Let's see here. Incoming portal. I'm seeing a lot of the outcoming portals, but
maybe it was a speculation thing. Then I thought that was another quarterback.
Players in the portal headed to Ohio State. You got Will Howard, Quinshon Judkins, 2 really highly touted guys. Right. Will Kaczmarek from Ohio, just Ohio, and then that's right. How could I forget, Jacob? Your boy Seth McLaughlin, our hero of the what you call it, the Sugar Bowl, I guess it was, wasn't it? Or something.
The Rose Bowl.
The Rose Bowl. There you go, Rose Bowl. So they got new. So now he could be the guy ducking for snaps. Now it sounds like so. But yeah, you best believe they're going to have and they're bringing in the best wide receiver in the nation. Now this is what you need to know. The kid they have coming in recruiting wise, Jeremiah Smith, the number 1 wide receiver in the nation. The kid is the truth. Ohio State's going to continue the tradition. Yes, man, he is freaking legit. That kid is awesome. Like, he is just a straight up dog. He's going to be like the next, like Marvin Harrison Jr., whatever. Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, whatever you want to name, man. He's right in there in that lineage. He's going to be awesome. He's going to be getting snaps year 1. He's that freaking good. And they already got guys.
Where did he come from? What state? What state did he come from?
I think pretty sure he's a. Let me look here. I thought he was a South Florida kid. But South Florida kids, boy, you don't play with them, man. You don't play with them South Florida boys. South Florida boys, that speed kills. But hold on, let me make sure. Yep, Opelika, Florida, Chaminade, Madonna Prep. There you go. Boom. That's the high school.
That's all I needed to know.
There you go. That's all you need to know, man.
Them Florida boys are getting it. They fast.
Yeah. Michigan's best player, Seth McLaughlin. Yeah, he was definitely.
Jacob and his distaste for Seth McLaughlin, dude. He was so mad about those snaps.
Boy, it ain't just him. It's all. But they were all.
I know, but I understand it was a bad snap at the end, but like, can y'all not understand? Like, Milroe didn't play his best game either. Like, come on, y'all. Like, it wasn't a one player type thing. Now, I agree. He didn't play good either, but so neither did Milroe, and neither did the offensive line. The offensive line was
offensive line had a very off game. Very off game. Next up, you had Michigan and Ole Miss, 6 and 7. Ole Miss that's really high for Ole Miss. I mean, if you like, I'm just not used to them being that highly rated that early in the year, but here they are adding in some defense. You know they're going to have some offense. Their Jackson Dart's coming back. Of course, they're not going to have Judkins. Yeah, I can believe it, man. I can believe it. I'd get tired of it too. They were all. I'd be upset probably as well, man. I'd be upset probably as well. Shoot, I was getting mad at Dalen Everett all year for getting just picked on and covered. So I can only imagine.
You hear Georgia fans, I love Tanner, dude. When Tanner be getting on, the defensive end, the white defensive end.
He hates Chambliss, and I feel so. Dude, when Chambliss said he's returning back. God, no, please don't come back. We don't want you back. All these people we don't want. How are y'all going to act this way about this kid?
Man. This man is a two-time champion. Leave him alone.
It's messed up.
He's been a key factor on our team. Yes, he might be.
Let the man live in peace. Curious if you're third in your division, does it benefit you in the playoffs and your win? Was just curious. I don't know. Because since we don't have division anymore, I'm guessing you mean SEC wise and Pac-12 wise and Big Ten. I know everybody's and ACC. I think it's now there's not going to be any divisions at all in any conferences. But third in your conference, does it have any benefits in the playoff? I don't know. I know there's benefits obviously to winning your conference because you get like a higher seed. Maybe there's something to say about finishing second and third, especially in a very top heavy. Conference. If you got a lot of heavy hitters in that conference and you finish third, I mean, I'm assuming there's a case to be made. Hey, that means something.
Well, this is when we're going to be on this show next year, and we're going to be sitting here arguing the 12th best team that should make it in.
Yeah,
and everybody's going to be
pissed.
I think this team and I think that team. The third doesn't have to play that extra hard. I mean, the third wouldn't have to play the SEC championship game, but
there will be benefits to people that don't win the conference as well. There will be, because I think somebody said
you won't have the home game though.
And I hate to hijack the conversation here, but I remembered somebody bringing it up. They were like, because that first team, the team that wins the conference gets a bye week, but they don't get to play it at home. Meanwhile, the team that finishes whatever, and they're that first and they're higher in the seeding, but they're playing in the first round, they get a home game.
That's right.
And they get all I'm pretty sure they're going to get all that, concessions money and ticket money, all that good stuff. I mean, it's going to really benefit those teams a lot. They're going to get a lot of money. So it's going to be interesting to see how they kind of balance that out. But back to you, Torres. I'm sorry.
No, you're not. Everything you're saying, the same thing is like it's going to benefit to win your now. I see what Greg said. There shouldn't be a conference championship then, but
you got to figure out who the top one is.
You got to figure out who the top teams are, and I think that's the purpose of it. Because let's just say let's use the scenario this year. Okay, Alabama won the conference; they would get the bye, while Georgia would basically have to play through the playoffs,
and we'd have a home game.
And it's right. We would lose the home
game. We would have a home game the way it would lose.
Yeah, eventually, as you play it out, we would have. Mm-hmm. But overall, I think it's gonna be really interesting. I do think we're gonna see a lot more blowouts. I don't care what nobody's saying, man. I think 12 is still too much, but we'll see how it play out. We can't do nothing about it.
They're probably it'll be something like wild cards. You're right, Gray. It'll be something similar to that. Like you might see 3 teams from one conference. You'll see like these different specials coming out. Like
we'll see Liberty. Liberty was undefeated.
Your TCU
made it. Yeah,
your Cincinnati's, they'll be making a run in here, and sadly, we'll see the misfortune of those.
You say, wait a minute, why you say TCU's? They wasn't a part of the Big 12.
I'm playing with you, but it was just like, no, they were part of the Big 12, and that was the first time. I'm pretty sure that was the first time a Big 12 had made. No, it wasn't. Texas had made it, hadn't they? Or no?
Had made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Oklahoma, all those other.
That's right, Oklahoma. They done. That's right. We played them in the Rose Bowl that year. You're right.
And then they played LSU in the. They played LSU. Hey, and then one year they play Alabama, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
The playoffs.
They did.
Oklahoma made it more than.
That's right. They made it, and they kept on losing in the first round of it. So yeah.
Did Jalen Hurts make it one year?
Lincoln Riley special. Don't know for a fact.
I don't think
I
he
don't know that one for a fact.
did. Maybe not.
Last three to cover real quick. Notre Dame, Penn State, Missouri. We talked about them. Notre Dame getting the addition of the Duke quarterback, Riley Leonard. Maybe that'll be something. We'll see. I don't know. Everybody was hyped on Sam Hartman. We saw how it ended. I do still like the coach there a lot. I do think the
Me too.
defense will be pretty good.
They had a solid season. They went what?
Yeah, I
10
mean it was still a good season. Maybe the offense will back up the defense, and we'll see how it goes. Penn State. If you came here to hear Tyler Layfield say some positive things about Penn State, you're probably in the wrong spot, man. You're probably in the wrong spot. I'm going to have to just shift this conversation over to Torres because I really don't know what to tell you positive-wise on Penn State. I mean, yes, I like Nick Singleton. Yes, Katrin Allen could do some good stuff. I'm not huge on the quarterback that everybody hyped up. Jacobson, Notre Dame has a stud at running back too. Okay, then so that'll probably help them out. But yeah, Penn State, I can't really get behind. Now Missouri, I can get behind a team like that. They're bringing back Brady Cook, Luther Burden. They're getting a big guy, and then they're recruiting Williams Nwaneri. They're getting some transfers. I like Missouri. Now it's going to be hard because it's hard. I don't know if Missouri's ready for that step yet. The step to relevancy because we saw it with a team like Tennessee last year where they won these big games. They stole the media's hearts, but then it just hasn't worked out for the best since. Can they stay at this level? That's the question I have. I want to see how this team shakes out. And of course, the farther we get into offseason, we'll start looking at these schedules and seeing what we think. We'll make our predictions on these records of these teams, but can they do something big this year to kind of stay at this level or even, better yet, take the next step, like making a 12-team playoff? That's obviously what you're working towards. So we'll see. Jacob chimed in. Penn State has Fleming now as well. That's right. They got Fleming from Ohio State, but you need someone that can throw the ball to him. And for whatever reason, I kept on hearing about that kid all off season long, especially from Jackson and Kobe, Drew Allard. I don't know. It didn't click for me, man.
Looking at a team like Penn State, I think if you look at majority of their years, they win every game except Michigan, Ohio State. Yeah, that's a playoff worthy team, and that's probably what's going to happen next year. And it's a playoff worthy team. Now I do know there's some new acquisitions to the Big Ten. Am I right? Is there some new teams? Who are the new teams to the Big Ten?
New Big Ten teams. I know we include Oregon's in it.
Hey.
Yeah. There's some big ones coming. Yeah, Oregon, USC, UCLA. They're all coming.
Hold on, where Colorado gonna be next year? Because
Washington, Colorado's gonna be. Let's see here.
Because I thought they were leaving the Pac-12. I could be wrong. I thought they were leaving the Pac-12.
Let's see here. I'm about to look. I think they might be approved to the Big 12. They're going to the Big 12. So they are moving to the Big 12.
Okay, so they're moving to the Big 12.
So yeah, different. Washington, Oregon, USC, and UCLA.
Oh, in the Big 10?
Correct. You are right.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, yeah. I guess after a while you forget about it, but yeah, remember it was a big thing when it happened.
Oh man, well, sorry, Penn State. hey, they got some killing.
You might have missed your best chance.
You might have missed your chance. I'm about to say you should have been there. You see how Michigan won it. You should have been there.
Hey, big sorry to Iowa. Sorry. Your last conference championship you're gonna play in, pal. I'm gonna need you to log off. I'm gonna need you to log off.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long time before they see that again.
Yes, sir.
That's wow. That's a hard conference. That's a hard conference.
Yeah, they're about to really perish for that. I hate it for teams like Iowa, because Iowa, they're just they stick to the guns, they do what they do, and they win the games how they win them. But now it's just it's gonna be too much, man. It's gonna be too much.
Dude, you're talking about the people keep talking about an all SEC playoff. Dude, you about to have SEC and Big 10 in the playoff.
They're gonna be beating on each other now. Michigan's not gonna be able to just beat up on Rutgers and whoever now. It's not gonna be Maryland or whatever.
It'll be no more than that.
some teams. You're not just going to play Ohio State and Penn State every year. You're going to play some.
Also, isn't Tyler Tagovailoa? Isn't he in the transfer portal?
He is, but Miami actually just added some FCS quarterback as a transfer, and there might be some writing on the wall. The NCAA may not give him another year of eligibility. But as Greg said earlier, money talks. So
money talks so well. It talks.
We'll see. We'll see if that plays anything into it. All right. So before we move on from looking ahead to next season, you ready to? We just wanted to touch on it a little bit. You ready to move on to some NFL playoffs?
Dude, am I? Dude, let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready for the NFL playoffs because we are one lucky team.
You're in it. You're in it. Hey. Let's go ahead and let's have you talk about your team first. Number 7 seed Pittsburgh Steelers is going to Buffalo to play the Red Hot Bills. What you think there, my man?
Well, the Bills have been hot, man, and I'm gonna get to the Dolphins, but man, what a way to lose! You went from being in contention for the number 1 seed to now losing all the way down towards the freaking 6th seed. Like that's just it's crazy. But overall, the Bills have gotten hot. They did what they had to do to get towards the 2 seed. Now they're going to have a huge home field advantage all the way until they have to play Baltimore. Man, Pittsburgh is one lucky son of a team, dude. I do not know how we have made it.
They're a 10-point favorite, by the way,
and rightfully so. I'm not. Then without TJ Watt,
I'm not trying to. Yeah, about to say I'm not trying to. Harsh your vibe, but I had to throw it out there.
Hey. The vibe is understandable. Do I think we beat Buffalo? No.
Uh-oh. Look at Jacob coming in here.
Hey, dude.
Steelers shock the Bills.
I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to say this.
Shock the world, baby.
I'm going to tell you this.
Shocking.
After seeing how the Bills played against the Dolphins. Now, let's be honest. The Bills ain't played the cleanest style of football. So the Steelers in ugly games, as we have seen, for multiple years, if they keep it tight, Mike Tomlin can pull it out. But I agree with you, Jacob. I don't like how Allen has
been playing pretty bad.
He's been playing pretty bad. He forces the ball in bad situations. It gives us a chance. But once we hit that 14-point mark, we down 14. You might well switch to something else because it ain't coming back. We got Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph has been playing phenomenal. No interception in these 3 games he started. One of the highest QB rated in these last 3 games, any quarterback in the NFL. Defense have been playing lights out, but that's with TJ Watt. Granted, we still have a really good front 7. I like what we can do. I do feel like it's hard for me to see him just going and just blowing out him. I think it's going to be hard to just blow him out off the water. But I don't see us having much of a chance I don't see much of a chance. Najee, if him and Warren are playing good, we can definitely keep this game tight.
Get Pickens going,
Got to get Pickens going. You're right. Got to get Johnson going. We got weapons. We can do it.
You got some weapons.
But, man, I don't like our chances.
Yeah,
man.
I hate it with TJ Watt. The over-under on the total points here is 36.5.
Really?
36.5. Mm-hmm.
And we're a 10-point underdog, too.
So lower scoring affair, 10-point underdogs. I don't know. Maybe y'all can muck this up to make it a close one. So what's your official pick here? You got this 10 points.
I got the Bills. I got the Bills.
Got them to cover that 10 points.
And it's hard to be. This is Mike Tomlin, man. He just knows. I don't know how he does it, boy, but he does it. But
that's what I'm like. It's hard. He's like one of those that it's in the back of your head. We talk about playing Saban. We talk about playing Brady. We talk about these kinds of things. I'm not trying to put Tomlin on that level, but Tomlin's legit, man. Tomlin's been doing this long enough where you got to respect it at some point, and he sneaks into these situations. He does these things. Jacob said he'll take the Steelers plus 10. And,
Jacob,
I'm not going to take the Steelers to win it, but I'll take the Steelers to stay within 10. I think I'm willing to.
I think that too. I'll take that as well. I think they can stay within 10.
They'll find a way to stick in this game. They'll find a way to stick in it. That's what I think. All right, so then let's see. Where do we go from here? Do you want to stay in the AFC? Just stay in the AFC?
Mm-hmm.
All right, may as well flip it over to the team you just talked about, and Jacob, I'm sure will chime in on this one. The number 6 seed Miami Dolphins, they're traveling to take on the number 3 Kansas City Chiefs. Should be a fun one, right? You got the Dolphins that started off the year hot. Obviously, went down in a little bit of a whimper toward the end of the year, but or actually not the Chiefs. Am I tripping? It ain't the Chiefs, is it?
Yeah, the Dolphins play the Chiefs. Yeah.
Okay, it is. My bad. Okay, cool. I looked at the wrong thing for a second. Yeah, and Kansas City, they are a 4-point favorite at home here in this game. And then let's look at the over under for points total here. Total points, we're looking at 43 and a half. So a little bit of a, higher scoring affair here is what we're looking like. Tyreek Hill maybe can get some revenge. How do you see this one playing out?
I currently see that Chiefs beat them early in the season. I think they played them overseas, I believe. They beat them 21-14.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really good
game. In Germany. That was
true.
a good game.
It's just hard for me to see the Dolphins, what they're doing, man. They have fallen off huge. And I know the Chiefs have not looked the best towards the end of the season, like losing to the Raiders and stuff like that at home. Mm-hmm. But I am going to say this. Again, Patrick Mahomes is starting to put that mystique around himself. So Andy Reid and the Chiefs. Heck, the Chiefs has went to what, 4 straight? Wait, since 2018, they played the Patriots. And they played who they played in the next one? They played the Titans, and they played the Bengals. Then they play, I think, the Bengals again and the Bills. So I think they went to 5 straight AFC championship games. So how many teams are you going to be able to sit here and be like, hey, I'm going to doubt the team that has been there the longest? I like the Chiefs, and I feel like some of their guys going to get hot at the right time. It's playoff times, and I've seen it too many weird times, man, where I've seen times where New England, where they would be playing, and New England would be losing like throughout the season. Hey, they let the Dolphins and the Jets beat them one year, and then they stroll on to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. Like, you look at it like, this team is not going to do it this year. I feel like we could see some of that a little bit with the Chiefs. I'm not saying the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl, but I am saying it's not a team I would count out. And the way the Dolphins have played towards the end of the season, give me the Chiefs, man.
Yeah, Jacob said Chiefs win. Dolphins' whole team is in the hospital. They have lost a lot of guys. They lost like the 2 best edge rushers. I want to say Chubb and Phillips.
Yep.
I think they might have some other guys down. I can't remember everybody they have out. Maybe some offensive linemen, I think, is out. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Waddle's always a guy you have to watch with injuries. Devon Achane as well. They do, they got talent. Dolphins have talent. That's not really the thing here that's hurting them. It's just like we said, they've been on a downslope, and then I guess the injuries have kind of hurt that as well, and made it even a steeper fall. Kansas City, they're the team. It's just the pedigree, the coaching. The team themselves, they have a lot of those pieces from over the years that have experienced this winning, being victorious in these games that are in the postseason, and they know how to win these games. They know how to grit and grind and get through some of these things, and I feel like that's why you got to pick them. That's why you got to pick the Chiefs to win this. Now, I'll take them to cover the 4 points because that is, it's just slim. I think this could very well come down to a field goal. I don't think it does. It could though. So I'm not going to, rule that out. I just trust the Chiefs to get this one done. Overall, they're still playing at home. So it does make a difference. Kelsey hasn't been on his game, and really you have to talk about it, but the wide receivers, just the receiving core as a whole, tight ends, everybody that catches the ball, it's just been really sucky this year for Mahomes. Like, best guy's been Rashee Rice, who's a freaking, rookie, out here leading. Tony sucks. Marcus Valdez-Scantling sucks. Kelsey's been kind of, to be honest with you, he's been sucking. They've been leaning on guys like Justin Watson, McCole Hardman coming back, doing some stuff. Like, it's been rough. It's been
right really rough. 1,000-yard year though, Kelsey. Yeah, you're right. It ain't the way it always been.
Yeah, it ain't. It's not like he's solid, but it ain't like monster like you're used to. It ain't like this monster, him just catching all these touchdowns. So, yeah, I'll still stick it with Chiefs, and I think they can win with defense in this one. So I'll go with them here. All right, staying in that same conference, we got Cleveland, number 5 Cleveland at number 4 Houston, who snuck into the playoffs and are now hosting a playoff game. I'll kick this one off here. Houston's been a fun story. I've been really liking what they've done. D'Amico Ryans has been a great coach this year. Um, having the quarterback come in from Ohio State, CJ Stroud, he's done a great job there this year. Nico Collins, they lost Tank Dell. Offense has been able to do enough and crazy. And then defensively, D'Amico's been able to get these boys playing some defense a bit. So
We're
that's
good.
been good. I do think it comes down to an end here, though. And I'm pulling up the line here. It's Cleveland is favored by 2.5, and they're a road favorite. So that's it's not normally the case. And the over under for points total is 44.5. I just feel like I got to lean Cleveland here. Cleveland, they got this astounding defense. Like Cleveland's got a stud defense. Like I freaking love the defense from Cleveland. They're awesome, man. They helped me a ton in fantasy this year with all the sacks and blocks and picks and scores. They did a lot, man. They were sick. Flacco's done enough as a quarterback. I like what he's done. I don't know if he's not comeback player of the year. I don't know who. I mean, people are making a case for the guy that passed out on the field last year. Damar Hamlin. I don't know. I'm not trying to crack on Damar Hamlin, but I mean, Flacco, man, he came off the couch and he's got this team in the playoffs. Like, I don't know. I kind of like him for it, but they can run the ball pretty well. Cooper's going to be back for this. He was just out because he just did everything the week before. I like Cleveland. I'll take them here to cover that.
Yeah. I like Cleveland as well. Cleveland is it's like almost a Cinderella story. Everybody knows the game that we all wanted them to play in. We all know the game that everybody wanted to see. And that is what? Browns versus Cleveland. I mean, the Browns versus the Ravens. Everybody wanted to see Joe Flacco and go against this old team in Baltimore in the playoffs, because let's be honest, we have seen it multiple times where when Flacco plays, it is he's the truth. Like, he's legit the truth. And I like Flacco. He's looking good these last few games. CJ Stroud look good too, man. He's a rookie. He's been playing really phenomenal, bro. But it's probably going to be him potentially for rookie of the year. But then again, you see what Puka just did, breaking the all-time rookie record.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to dispute. I don't know. I like what the Texans have done this year. Great step up. I mean, went from being one of the worst teams in the league to now a playoff team and winning the division. Yes, definitely props to the Texans and all they've done. But yeah, give me the Browns in this one.
All right. So that'll swing us over to Green Bay, the number 7 seed over in the NFC. They're traveling to face Dallas, number 2 seed Dallas Cowboys. And right now, Dallas is a 7.5-point favorite. And a lot riding on this for Mike McCarthy here, man. If he screws this one up, he's definitely going, I feel like. I mean, you can't have the season you have and then just throw it away against a Green Bay team that's been just kind of meh like all year. Like, I don't know. Jordan Love, he's okay. They got a good, young wide receiver talent over there. The defense could be okay at times, but there's no excuses for losing this game. You got to win this one. And with the defense you have, with the way Dak's been playing, CD's been playing, like, I feel like you got to win this. I think they do. Give me the Cowboys and give me them to cover that 7.5.
Well,
hang on. I think you got disconnected somehow. All right. So I'm going to text Torres, but while he's doing that, I'm pulling up also as well. You disconnected. Let me tell him that. But the over-under for the game, as it stands right now, is 50.5. So, I mean, it looks like it's going to be a pretty high-scoring game, how it stands as of right now. I've been a fan. I mean, I wish I would have had some of these Cowboys pieces in fantasy this year with how they played, but just didn't work out that way for me. When is blowing hard? It seems my Wi-Fi went out. Okay. Join on phone. All right. So Wi-Fi probably got knocked out for Torres. The storms that have been coming through, y'all probably been experiencing them yourselves, but wind's been blowing pretty bad. So I told him, let's see if we can join on phone. And it looks like he is coming back on in. Here he is. There he is. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
There he is.
Hey,
God is good.
Wi-Fi acting foolish, man. We got to show no rap. There's all these tornado warnings and all that stuff. So wind is blowing really hard. But back to what I was saying. What was I gonna say? What game?
About the Cowboys.
Cowboys, yeah. Cowboys definitely should win this one. I like the Packers a lot. Jordan Love, he's thrown for over 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. He's had a really good season for him being the first year at the helm. He's had a really good season. Second year at the helm, right? Because what? Rodgers
first year all him.
First year, because Rodgers left last year. Yeah. So props to him, man. A lot of props to him getting his team to the playoffs. But yeah, the Cowboys should have this one. And I love all these storylines. You got Tyreek Hill going against his whole old team in the Chiefs. You got Mike McCarthy coaching against his old team in the Packers, and then obviously as we eventually get to it, you'll have the Lions and the Rams. Matthew Stafford going against his old team. So it's a lot of beautiful storylines going on in this year.
You're right about that. So let's swing through the rest of these before anything else happens, would you, over there? 6th seed, like you just talked about, Los Angeles Rams, led by Matthew Stafford, going and getting some revenge at the number 3 Detroit Lions. Right now, let's look at the line for this. Lions have had a good year, probably one of their best years in franchise history. I mean, it's been a long time since they had made the playoffs, so it's good to see them, make their way back. But the Lions are a 3-point favorite. They're 3-point favorites at home. Rams have been hot though. They're one of these teams. They're kind of like Buffalo, like where they were just getting hot, and you were just like, I don't know if they should. I don't know if I'd want to play these guys come postseason. Better yet is what I'm leaning toward. I was trying to get Torres in here while I was doing it, but like the Rams. The Rams and Bills is what I was saying. Torres, they're the kind of teams they were getting hot at the right time. You didn't want to play them in the playoffs if they were able to make it. And the Rams have been having some good defense. Stafford and the Rams, these wide receivers they're able to have, they've been playing pretty good. Kyron Williams has jumped on the scene at the running back position. He's done great. But the Lions have had a pretty good year, man. They got some offensive pieces: Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, all these guys coming in playing. Defense has been pretty solid, but I think that I see an upset on the horizon, and I see Matthew Stafford leading these Rams to defeat the Lions at home. I'm going to take that to happen. So give me the Rams and the points here.
Hey, Tyler, this is one of the closest games I feel like we're probably going to see throughout the week, and you just made a really good point. Man, the Lions have the true recipe of let's make a run in the playoffs. Like when you think about the teams that make runs in the NFL playoffs that don't have high seedings, they have a really good quarterback, a really good defense. They got Aaron Donald, all those boys on that side, and now found a lot of weapons on the. Got Puka, you got Coop.
Kyron Williams, like I said, he was just a guy they got for cheap. Him and Puka, they got just for pretty much nothing in the draft.
Bro, exactly, bro. You got steals, and these teams like this usually have steals like, oh man, who would have ever thought? And the Rams got that who would you ever thought type team, and I agree with you, man. But the Lions got really good defense, man. That run game with Williams, Goff coming back, get a chance to play his old team at that.
That's right.
That's gonna be good.
Revenge on both sides.
Both sides. Yeah, both sides. So I think it's going to be a really, really good game. Weather shouldn't play a factor at all. They both in a dome regardless.
Yep.
It's going to see the best football on both ends. This is tough. Man, it's going to be a hard game to pick. It really is. But I'm going to – I don't know, man. I feel like the Lions are finally going to do it. They're finally going to get that playoff win.
Okay.
Go with the Lions. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be – I'm going with the Lions.
All right, last one here. 5 seed Philadelphia Eagles going to Tampa Bay to face the number 4 seed Buccaneers. And the Eagles are 3-point favorites, 3-point road favorites in this one, and I couldn't agree more. Buccaneers, man, it was good they were able to make it. Baker's had a pretty solid year, honestly, as quarterback for Tampa Bay. So he's been, pretty good. I just don't see the Buccaneers really having a chance here. I'll tell you, I'll smash Philadelphia to cover the 3 points here with their defense, with their offense, with everything they have. It's just easy. It's simple, straightforward, to the point.
Yeah, I just don't see what the Bucks scored 9 points against the Panthers. Scores 9-0. It was an awful game. I was keeping up with it because I was like, man, imagine if the Panthers upset in the winner of the Saints. I thought at first the Falcon game was all right, but then the Saints went to work. Well, then I was like, okay, well, the Bucks did what they had to do, and I like the Bucks. They still got that same a lot of guys from that same defense when they won the Super Bowl or the last few years, even with Tampa Bay. So they still got a good team. But give me without question, give me the Eagles. Eagles struggling, but I don't think Eagles do any more after this round.
Yeah, I was about to say that's what I was just about to bring up. I pulled up the NFL playoff picture over here, and the winner of this one has to go face San Francisco at San Francisco. So, yeah. And then also, I didn't mention it over there on the other side, but the winner between Cleveland and Houston, they face Baltimore at Baltimore. Baltimore's been a juggernaut.
That's only if the lower seed. So the 1 seed always plays the lower seed. So
okay. So elaborate on that. Tell me, straighten that out for me.
So basically, so they have an order, but the order is made just in case if all top seeds win. But the 1 seed always plays the lower seed. That's the purpose of having the number 1 seed. So if the 2 seed wins and the 3 seed wins, but the 5th seed wins, the 5th seed will play the 1 seed while 2 and 3 play each other.
Okay. And they're just basically saying they think Cleveland and Philadelphia have the best chance probably to in these words pull an upset in these matchups.
Yes.
But now what about in my case where the Rams, if they are a number 6 seed and they upset the Detroit Lions, would they then face the San Francisco 49ers in the next round?
Yes, the Rams would because they would
All right. So that's what I think is actually going to happen. Okay. And I'm betting Philadelphia hopes that happens as well.
Yeah, I'm about to say, because if Philly wins, they're the 5 seed, and they will have to go to San Francisco unless the Rams beat the Lions, which in case would mean they're the lower seed. They have to play San Francisco. Yep.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, anything else you want to hit on here before we wrap up the show?
No, man, that was a good show, man. Really enjoyed everyone that tuned in. Look, we're almost dwindling down towards all the NFL season. Now it's time for me to get on my NBA soapbox.
I know. I gotta get back in NBA. I gotta start giving it
more.
What's
surprising? Wolves are the number 1 seed in the West. I gotta definitely check out what the heck going on.
Who's the number 1 seed in the West? You said
the Timberwolves.
Wow.
I definitely got to keep up. I definitely got to, check out and see what the heck going on all around. But it is shocking to see the Timberwolves as number 1 seed. So,
no kidding. Yeah, man, I got to check back in. I know John Morant, we saw some news with him. He's done for the year. Halliburton had an injury last night. So there's some big stuff going. We're going to start diving more into it and getting into it, and especially when it comes to playoff times. We're going to have something to say. So, yeah, man, like Tori said, thank you guys out there for all of you guys that tuned into the live stream. If you're out there listening on the podcast, we appreciate you listening there. If y'all want to listen to the podcast, we're out there on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere podcasts are located. Thank y'all for all the support. If you do want to support the show and a little extra and you're out there listening on podcasts, click in the description, go to the link tree, and there's many different ways you can help. Just follow us over on our social media channels, and we will appreciate it. Thank you guys for listening. And like I said, as always, we'll see you next time.
Boom, boom.